That's right.
Hello, everybody. Oh, it's perfect. G-Man right there is perfectly covering up the surprise. We have Kingmaker Season 4 with what? 4 PCs? Oh, come on. Come on. Just saying, Regicide's better. They got it with only second season. So, what's up, everybody? How are we doing today?
Well, they needed the help in second season.
Hey-oh.
Oh. Ooh.
So what's up, everybody? How are we doing? Good? Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
You're good. It's a silence.
Some of the people in chat know why I'm excited. They may have
Oh
seen
my
it.
God.
My Jesus Christ.
Anna.
Okay, we're at 375%.
375% level 5? Oh my God. Okay. So let's
3 BP, Scott. Sweet. Thanks for that.
That actually beats the hype train we had on Friday. Friday, the hype train only went to 2.
Oh my God.
That does crush that.
It's still going.
Oh my God.
It's still going.
See, I'm just going to say, I join campaigns and then they get hype trains. I'm just going to say it.
Everyone drops bits when you join because they want to trump you.
You know, that's a good point. Hey, chat, since all the hype does come for Will, this 475% level 5 hype train, that's absolutely insane. Should we give something to Will's character? Should we do something hype for Will's character walking into the game?
Like an execution.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute Neil. I'm gonna mute Messy. So the Messy of this campaign.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we give him? Yeah. So Tesha's saying yes because that goes on to his.
Hold on, I'm kind of partial to what Van said in chat.
What's that?
Revive Luca. Bring the boy back.
Oh, do I have Luca? No, I have Lost Initiative's old crew over there.
I'm so jealous you got that. They're so cute. I love them.
Granted, you'd probably have to pay extra for shipping, and you have to give out your address. But Midori will actually make those for a small cost.
Like I don't trust Midori. She made a veil one that is so cute.
Yeah, I'm just saying she will actually make them for you. So, which is awesome. Anyways, so what do we want to do? What do we want to do for everybody? Because obviously this session, I don't know if you've seen the title, it's actually literally named Season 4 Preseason Continued, which is accurate because we're introducing characters. We still have 2 months to jump and other shit that's going on. And then I suppose tail end of this one, beginning of next one, we're going to be... I just didn't want to force rush through so many important details. So I was like, screw it. Let's just continue the preseason here. There's so much that goes on in this campaign. This isn't a simplistic campaign like Thronekeeper or Regicide, where they're just a bunch of simpleton adventurers trying to get right. Like
Scott just misspoke there, and I thought he literally just called them a bunch of simps, and I was like,
simple.
Like, holy shit,
simpleton. Oh God, another 5 gift subs, a bunch of bits over there. That's amazing. What did you say there, Tash?
I said, are you okay? It was like you struggled to say simpleton then.
Simpletons. Like I was like dragging it out. Like, do I really want to hurt their feelings?
It's quite ironic, isn't it, that Scott struggles to say simpleton.
Douche. So, yeah. Continuing on. Do we want to give him some nice? Thank you for the 100 bits.
Yes,
nice,
Will's
power.
my boy. Let's give him some. Oh my God, it's still going. We're over 500%.
Yeah. All right.
Over 9,000.
Raven gonna die today. Do I just ban Anno now? Just quickly.
Yeah, that doesn't take away the thing from
I know he can still interact with the daddies.
20
damn
seconds left, Jesus, or however
if
many.
you ban him, you'll just make him angry.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy. All right. Well, thank you everybody for the crazy amount of support. Hype train, less than 10 seconds left. 511%. That is crazy.
Got slightly more.
That is craziness. I just want to say thank you. We're going to give to you, what's your face, William, a major magic item for that one. That's right. A major magic item you're going to be able to walk in with. That's going to be...
Wait, we're going to get a 26 substances.
I'm going to have to find out what that is, Will. We're going to have your character actually is going to be introduced right about where we kind of left off last session. So I'll find out what the item is in a minute. I'll have to do some quick searching to figure that out. But thank you everybody for all the love. Thank you everybody for the hosts. Thank you everybody for the follows. Thank you everybody for the bits and so on and so forth. It was amazing.
Makes it real hype. And you know what? It makes me forgive you for how much you make Kingmaker.
Shut up, Neil. So yeah, we're actually picking up last time. Sorry, exactly where we were. We can actually bring ourselves over to the view screen. Do I have you guys? Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have you guys looking at the map. You guys should have been able to look at that the whole time. Let me actually bring the screen over there too, and we can also test to make sure everything looks good. Yep, you're all in the right spots. Almost like I know how to do my job.
Of course you know.
This is where we had left off last time for the kingdom.
God damn it.
We had finished it with you'd only done one kingdom roll so far. That was the one that happened immediately after the war, like within a week or so after the war ending, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then some time had passed. There was a bit of RP that took place. You guys had found your way to Hod Gwen, spoke to the slumbering queen. You like to think that she was doing something terrible. She was trying to aid one of her followers as well as aid other people. But, Neil's suspicious and evil, so, she's bad in his eyes, and so on. There are many zombies around, and they are moving, and they are marching. Over that course of time, because technically speaking, you're supposed to have other people looking into the zombie situation as well. Let me just grab this link and share this in Discord. Twitch. That's if anybody wants to follow along on the Kingdom spreadsheet. So in the Kingdom spreadsheet, you guys were having different persons handle different problems. One of them that was handled was the infrastructure, handled actually pretty well by Glugmug, and new in the neighborhood was handled mediocre. I think you rolled a natty 1 or something by your spy master. That's fine, Tash.
Raveena.
Now, unfortunately,
that was only step 1 because we decided to put that into 2 different parts. It was gather information.
It wasn't a natty 1 because it wasn't handled negatively. It was handled neither positive nor negatively.
We got no information basically except for the numbers, I think.
Yeah, you just rolled really, 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 really garbage. So so you guys also wanted to have others handling it. Now, it depends on exactly what degree of handling you want to do it. Now, with the Undead Plague being there, it's clearly with a -10 to stability is what the Plague offers, which is pretty crazy bad. 1 second, let me just come over here. And
I think it's time we dispatch the Jaeger bomb.
So because there are that's not what I wanted to do.
No, we don't want to kill the goblins.
No, not for the goblins. But think about how much loyalty it's going to get us across a deer when Leshev are pathetically murdering these undead, and then all of a sudden Jaeger appears. I think we should dispatch him to clear a deer. Is what he's good at.
Well, I mean, really, there's us, Leshev. Vigil's probably dead because of their million ghosts, and the other place.
Howard?
No, where Hinto was from.
No, they're not dead. Varen are not dead.
No, they were sparsely spread out, as far as I believe, so they might be all right.
Yeah, Varen are probably fine. Also, a lot of their dead died elsewhere.
I do think, though, we should dispatch Jaeger and the army down to Reed, from Reed towards Halgren and Ostrad, because that's the densest area of population and has been for generations.
Well,
so
we should probably clear the road
hold
to
up,
Leshev
hold up
first.
2 seconds. So one of the things that I was going to say was you can have multiple members of your leadership, as long as it's not handling other issues, helping to handle this. So it doesn't have to be one person. It can be multiple. So once again, you look at the positions and you look at the individual persons for what they're doing. You're talking about handling the roads. If you actually look at what the warden's position is, the warden's job is to keep your more densely populated areas, in this case, because you lost Rid, it's more or less just Kurzfall and
I wish I was in Marshall.
I'm sorry?
No, carry on.
So your warden is the one that would be able to handle things like, say, protection of your homelands. You could also have your general handling that as well, or you can have him with an army actively go and engage in warfare elsewhere.
That would be my choice. So I would send Jaeger out to deal with the problem while the warden literally wards the city.
Okay.
Making decisions by yourself again, are you, Raven?
Oh, jeez.
Well, someone has to.
So seriously,
I see how it is. No consultation, just acting on your own. Okay.
Seriously, one thing that would be really good to do is to get the road to Leshev up, secure Leshev and a road to us, because having two towns be in this together opposed to one is huge. Like, that is a big thing. We can get supplies for each other if one.
Yeah, I feel RP wise, the road to Leshev comes first, and then we're building a fort. We just built one, so that would make sense to move in that direction next.
Yeah, the fort is next to Rid.
So I like the name, the Road to Leshev. I feel like that could be a campaign in and of itself. Like Aurorum, the Road to Leshev. Ooh.
I like it a lot, actually. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, also, I'm hopeful that Leshev is doing better than we think, because
they were levying militia to send to us, so they will have a standing army at the time.
Because that was something that Valorant inspired them to do right before all this went down, was to get their own army going.
So I am agreeing that it's a good idea that you guys are using the warden, which is Cathal, to guard your primary city there, and a little bit outside of it. Realistically, a warden can only guard so much at once. When your nation is this small, and when your nation's bigger, you can kind of because there's more to handle it. Blah blah blah. I like the idea that you're sending your army out to go and do other stuff as well. That's pretty baller. So you can do that. Are there any other counselors that are not counselors, but leadership persons, advisors? We haven't officially named their titles or whatever.
We want to send. Do we want to send Elliot with guard to try and deal with the goblins?
That would be the next. That'd be the next month. Oh, I suppose that's this month, the one that we're doing now. No. That would be the next on the test, because you already handled it only partially.
Right, of course. Yeah. Okay. We didn't finish that month. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We could send Elliot under guard, but there's if they do decide to attack him, they will kill him.
I would
if
say
they
Elliot
choose to, because we don't have enough soldiers to kill them right now. Particularly, the army is out with General Jaeger, and Rayron's riders are on defense.
So I just realized something. So this month we're sending Jaeger to where are we sending him to? Leshev?
Sending him down towards, I would say, but me and Jake differ. So Jake wants us to secure the road to Leshev first. I think we should secure Haldgwen and Ostrad, because it's a bigger show of force if we clear out these undead.
That's much further from home, but
it is much further. But I trust Leon. Leon knows what he's doing. He's the sort of person that we can send away and not worry about.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is get them to clear out Leshev or help Leshev this month, then have Elliot meet the army or meet General Jaeger, and then have them both approach the goblin situation. So Elliot can try and do it diplomatically, and if things don't go well, Jaeger can defend him.
What about if I'm going to draw on the map if you guys are looking? What about if we dispatch the general on this route somewhere down there, like so? Because the goblin camp is down there, right?
Could you do me a favor? Because we already used purple. Can you just highlight that?
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Purple's my... Yeah,
we can't send him to deal with the goblins this turn. We've already sent the Spy Master this turn.
But we're not sending him to deal with the goblins. He's just there in case Elliot needs to run away. Then he only has to run one hex, and he will be on horseback. Which probably the goblins aren't. And so the thing is, if we send Elliot, we are risking him.
Yeah.
What are you looking to have Elliot do?
Speak to the goblins. Find out if they're.
Oh, we can technically do that next month again, because usually you can do multiple things a month.
We're planning ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's not worry about that now. Let's worry about.
Where we're sending Jaeger depends on what we were planning to do with that next month, because we were hoping he could help defend if something goes wrong with that. But also, we may not be able to do that.
So first things first, we need to decide where we want to send Jaeger.
Yeah.
So Jake wants to send him over to Leshev. I don't particularly see any significant benefit to that right now.
Well, remember, Leshev is the trade hub.
Trade is going to suck right now.
Well,
if I'm a
remember,
caravan leader, I ain't leaving a city.
They have the river.
And if you're caravan, you might go bankrupt.
They have the river.
That is true. They have a river which
it
Undead
goes out
probably.
of Adir. Yeah, the river goes out of Adir. So if anyone can get supplies right now, it's them.
Okay, you persuaded me.
I mean, it's not like it's a highly communicable pandemic that's going on right now. You know what I mean? It's not like we should be trying to reopen all these businesses and whatnot, despite World Health Organization.
I mean, if you feel a little unwell, just go to work.
Yeah.
Quote your president.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's changed his tune. Finally, I'm not gonna be that unfair.
God, keep going.
And now it has a medication in it.
So yeah, you guys are looking for this month. You're sending him to go to Hodgwen and then to Orstrad.
No,
so for this month, he's. Let me delete the previous one.
Yeah. Because mind you, because this is a whole month, and before we were doing things because you pay by week, and you already paid the cost for him, because you technically pay the cost to keep the standing army going every week. You pay that cost, the consumption, which is not cheap. And if you look at your treasury, it currently stands at 11. That's including the 10 borrowed, because you guys were at 1 before.
What's his face? Does he have Forage of the Land, I wonder?
I think we might have to ask.
No, he doesn't.
What's the Leshev guy's name again?
Fox.
Arthur.
Arthur. Arthur's your friend. Yeah.
He might have to actually secure more funding from Leshev because they don't really have a standing army, and if we're going out literally clearing Adir, they may be able to help offset the cost, despite the fact that we do technically owe them 10. But in doing this, we're helping them as well.
So, if I remember correctly, if you send him with the army, he actually reduces the cost of said army. Where is it? Arthur. If you send him with the army, he reduces the consumption by 1. Yep. He makes them cheaper.
We already have him out and about traveling, so we'll just have him go there with...
I think he was already there. That's where he went.
Yeah, he was on his way traveling.
Yeah, but so time passed, so he was successful in his endeavors to get people to come and visit for what's his name, Valorant's funeral and everything. So he is able to travel with as kind of like a secondary aid with the general and reduce the army's consumption.
That's actually great. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Something we need to know. He went out and kind of wanted to get people for Valorant's funeral or whatever. What are the state of? Because I assume he went to Leshev, he went to other places. Have we heard from Vigil or Forven? Baron?
So that's one of the things. That's one of the things I want to give you the information for, but we haven't caught up enough for me to do that. We have to kind of like plan what was going on throughout the month before I give you the information that's kind of coming in as it shores up.
Yeah, we're giving orders before we get that information, so we'll hear about it during the month.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I'd love to tell you,
but you can't.
I'm waiting for you, boys. So, what are you? So we know what we're doing. The general. He's going to down by Hodgwen and whatnot. We know that we're sending him there. What's his name? Arthur there. We know that we have the Cathal is protecting the homelands. We know that where's the other page here? So that's Cathal. We know that Raveena was doing some spy, and Retrock was doing his infrastructure stuff. That leaves by an Elliot. Who is the consular, so technically he's supposed to be the one that speaks to the people anyways, so keeping him home is not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. He's there. And then you have lastly you have Edric, who's the treasurer, but Edric is kind of acting as a stand-in over,
how dare you?
What do you mean?
Edric is a great treasurer, thank you.
No, it's the stand-in over in Hodgwen.
You could say he's a treasure.
He's over in Hod Gwen. He's maintaining a
No, he came back.
He came back.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to
summoned him back.
I didn't know if you wanted to keep him back and forth between the two places because you can have.
I
him
guess
away
that is
a bit.
possible.
It's
Yeah.
probably what he would be doing, I suppose, because he would be dealing with the logistics of supplies for these people.
Well, look, something I would bring up to you though is, do we want to open Hodgwen's vault? And I would say I think we should.
If this is
You
a
have the
conversation
chime
you
of
guys
opening.
have with your advisors, we can actually bring that down to RP mode. So you can imagine that, like, when you guys are having this conversation with one another, it's probably you're going to be missing. Roll me because other people are handling situations. So roll me a D3. That's a 1d6 divided by. Just roll me a D6 and it'll be a D3 or slash roll 1d3 for how many advisors are missing for this conversation. Because cracking the vaults using the chime of opening is a legit a thing that you can do.
Roll 20 is frozen for me.
Please stop fondling that radio. Oh, and now he's giving it a good old slap.
So I'm going to say 2 are missing because we rolled the D3 there. So the reason why 2 are missing from this conversation is because literally Glugmug, which I guess that's not so bad to have missing, is just very busy crafting barrels. I mean, working on the infrastructure of the nation. And then the other one that is going to be missing from this is going to be Arthur, who continues to be on the roads between where he needs to be and where in home. You know what I mean?
I just have the image of like a repair job, and it's like there's like a corner of a wall missing, and instead of that wall being rebuilt in stone, there's just like barrels stacked in wall shape, like perfectly fitted barrels, but just barrels.
All right.
It's like beautifully done, but you're like, that's an interesting choice.
To answer,
Awful taste, but great execution.
To answer Mem's question in chat, what the hell is a visual? A visual is a person. It's also a sword. It's also a city.
There we go.
and people that live there are visualites, because somebody is very, very good at what's it called? Nameology? Nope. Nomenclature.
Etymology?
I think it's nomenclature. Isn't that what you call it? Naming? I could be wrong. I don't know. No. The art of naming, whatever that word is. Someone will yell at me in chat. So you're having this RP moment where literally I can imagine you guys are having one of your get-togethers with your advisors, and literally Grishka probably just throws out there as plain as Jake just said. So are we going to open the vaults of Hodgwen? And Rayron replies with,
well, if we will use the money to save people.
I did hear her say she needed medical stuff as well, so I mean that could also pay for that.
Yes, they did seem to be doing a rather good job of saving people's lives. So, I think it is for the best.
I'd look around the table at the others.
Okay, so Edric's like, yeah, we need all the money we can get. I will tell you this. The army is there. We get along with the army well enough right now. We go cracking open any amount of money they got left and walking away with it. I don't know how much we're going to be getting along with the army at that point. Call it what you want. Wartime rewards or just trying to make sure we could pay for everyone's survival. They're just going to see you walking away with bags of gold. Cathal will kind of nod along with what Edric's saying. Raveena would say, we could be a little bit more careful with how it is that we go about doing this. It doesn't need to all be taken at once. Perhaps if we siphoned it slowly over a period of time, they don't have to be aware of the fact that we're taking it. But I do have to say that they are also in incredible need. It all depends on how you want them to pull through with this situation. And then Leon.
I mean, nobody there has access.
Correct. Correct, but it's if you're opening it and walking away with the gold, that's a different conversation than opening it and leaving it open. Yeah. And Leon would simply say, we're struggling, but we're getting by. Struggling is something they one day hope to do.
God, in this meeting, I can't talk.
I have
They've
to agree
requested
with
suppliers from us, though, as well, which is going to put a bigger strain on our resources. Anyway, I understand, how it would look, and I wouldn't be so brazen as to cart out things of gold, but... And he looked to Rayron. This is as much about cleansing a deer as it is our image as the saviors of it. So
this isn't a matter of feeding a war machine, but feeding a people, as you say. We're not aiming to take the gold. We could siphon a small amount, as Raveena says, and we could use it for the people. That gold belongs to Hound Gwen, yes. However, it will not save anyone's lives should it remain in the vault. If we can repurpose some of it efficiently, then the only decision is whether or not to tell the people.
Edric says, yeah, what you said. And Raveena's like, we could attempt to siphon it out slowly to keep us afloat with time. Looking around the room, obviously reading the room. Slowly with time, and if they happen to, we happen to be stabilizing ourselves, discontinue taking the amount of gold. That way they can utilize it as well. And perhaps, they're the ones that also have access to it. The vaults are cracked. They have access to it. And the numbers are, looking over to Edric, fudged a little bit. They don't necessarily know how much is disappearing right off the bat, depending on, of course, what's in there.
But it only takes one mushroom to blow things wide open. So I don't think a lie would be best at this stage.
I think the best thing to do would say we have the means to crack the vault, and we will do so. But the money we take will be used to provide relief for this undead.
But I mean, who are we telling there? Because I'm not giving the slumbering queen any power. I'm not having.
I do not
the cult
wish to
take
particularly give her power, but I do believe in this scenario she may well be the best person to tell. Trust me when I say I'm not particularly fond of her.
If I'm thinking, like I said when we were last there, 3's in command of the city, and she's coordinating both the orcs and the militia, so the army of Hodgwen. So maybe it's time to speak to the commander of that army and have him take more of a role below 3. I don't really wish to give this woman power. He just shakes his head.
Leon says, there is another woman who was promised a degree of power.
It could be the perfect time to deploy that.
Well, I guess now is a good a time as any while we're trying to work this out. Now, I gave her a task, and I believe now that, and he looks down, Valorant is no longer with us. In this, I believe you all in this room may be able, if chosen of the quill. And he looks at you, funny. And then he says, is amenable. You all know how I feel on the matter. I do not believe that she should be given any position of power. The things that she did to our own people were abhorrent. We know how Raven feels, but I asked her to more or less plead her case. And Raven, if you are amenable to the idea, a way to break our deadlock may be to get a read of the room, and he'll look around at the others.
They all seem interested, at the very least. They're, aid is aid is aid is aid. And to everybody, you guys have had to turn to persons that fell at your doorstep in times of need. This is somebody who's been sitting underneath your floors for some time. They're all at least interested to hear what she has to say.
I agree. Might I suggest we bring her up? She can make her case. Before we do, many of you may not be aware of who it is we are speaking. Lady Greyress was the wife of a leading councillor of Howd Gwen, a noble. She rather more appeared to be the brains behind any operations going on there. She led a slaving trade. As you know, that is a greatly abhorrent thing, both in the eyes of us, our gods, and Adir. Furthermore, we captured her. We killed her men. I understand many atrocities were uncovered in her camp. She turned some of our men into slaves, and others she tortured and killed. That said, since being captured, she has done almost everything within her grasp to be compliant. She has helped us with information and establishing a network of spies within Howd Gwen. She has earned some liberties because of this and has been staying in cells in relative comfort. Her one demand was the safety of her son, who is also in our custody for the moment. However, I would not say words to defend him, as I believe he does not deserve it. That said, she said she would work for us, even in a leadership position in Howd Gwen, should we guarantee the safety of her son. The only way to guarantee the safety of her son and keep him from trouble would be to keep him in prison here, which is a distasteful course of action. I believe it's also worth noting, with the aid of arcane magic, she was able to escape from her cell, and although she harmed no one, she burnt a section of books which may have been of great value. She admitted to this freely and did not attempt to hide it.
After you finish saying all of that to each and every one of the advisors, there's kind of just like a nodding and understanding amongst them. The only one that actually chimes up, because pretty much everybody knew who she was already, the only one that chimes up is Raveena and says, "My gut tells me that when somebody's already acted as a conniving, double-crossing, when somebody has worked both sides in the past, perhaps you don't want to give them the opportunity to work both sides in the future. But considering that's the foundation by which I stand on my platform, I say we give the old gal a chance."
So what you're saying is you wish to caution us against you. He smiles.
She will also kind of like smile back. It's a somewhat flirty smile, giving you like one of those like looks and a smile, but definitely just kind of like playing to the situation, trying to make light of everything going on. Everybody else just nods because they all already knew this information.
We should have her brought up then.
So we will get guards. We'll grab her and bring her up and bring her into the room. And she is, of course, composes herself well as she walks into the room. You've seen her many times before. She's allowed to be bathed, not every day, but, fairly often. She's, her clothing is, she's given multiple outfits that she's able to switch through. She, of course, has been able to maintain a degree of, again, just the way that she's able to compose herself because she's given, maybe not these past couple weeks, but she's been allowed to leave her cell and go and spend time up in the library upstairs under guard, but mostly down in her cell with books and everything, which that has maintained and whatnot. So she's sane. She hasn't broken or anything like that. She is not, in accordance with what the guards have told you, as you've asked, tried to yell to speak to her son or anything like that. She's respected the wishes of you cannot speak to him. You have to keep it quiet and to yourself in the meanwhile. Yay. So she comes walking into the room, and as she walks into the room, she kind of looks about the room and will give a little bit of a bow to both of the chosen that are here and say, "Chosen, thank you for giving me the opportunity." And then you can see as she looks at everyone in the room, her eyes do rest upon new faces. So she has never seen, Raveena before. So definitely takes that one in. And actually she did meet Edric. I think he was part of the original incursion to get.
He's been here from the start.
Yeah, but he was also part of the incursion, and he was a part of her city before. So her eyes rest mostly on Raveena because she doesn't know who that is. But take it away.
I hope we can let him retire one day in a nice home, sitting on the porch with a pipe, bit of bacon.
With his mace.
Yeah, with his mace hung up above the fireplace. Little family. Top lad, really.
Okay.
Raymond would look to 1.
Okay. So
I just look at her and say, "Proceed."
Listening to you say proceed. She says, "Chosen, thank you again for the opportunity for me. Chosen, thank you again for the opportunity for me to be able to speak my case. I don't have much of a case to make. I have spoken with you many times over the course of the past few months since all of this began, since we became aware of you, since we became rivals, since you've attacked my personal estate and taken dismantled the business that my family has built. You've taken the life of my husband and the freedom of my son. My daughters are, of course, still free and out in the world, but truth be told, as I've said before, have no interest in the politics of Hod Gwen, simply in the finances that their parents were able to offer them as they embarked on their own endeavors in the greater world beyond. I can imagine, since Hod Gwen has been sacked, as is my homestead, my estate probably having its finances stripped down. I bear no ill will over that. Why would you not do such a thing? I have offered to you from the beginning, in exchange for the freedom, for the safety of my children, at the very least, the safety of my children, I will serve. I will provide whatever aid for your nation that I can, whatever comforts I can give to you and your people in exchange for the safety of my children. Things got to a boiling point recently, a few weeks past. We're all aware of this. And an opportunity had presented itself before me. Going into a battlefield, a greater power came before me, one that you're familiar with yourself, and offered the safety. If I only did a small task, destroy a small collection of antiquities, of books, I did that task for that power. I regret having to some degree, turning my back on our pact between one another. But, as I said, this is a greater power that you're familiar with. I offer no excuse beyond that. I didn't know you put a metro in. Nonetheless.
Very advanced. Elliot's been working on it for some time, actually.
Kudos. So she says, all I ask now, as I have said for months, I will offer whatever aid I can to your kingdom in exchange for the safety of my children. If that means to serve on some platform, if it means to continue to give guidance in the ways that I have, or if it means to lay down my life, I will do what I need to do to ensure the safety of my children and trust the pacts that we have made will not be broken by you and yours.
Gods, take it back to herself. Thank you.
She is let out back to her cell. As she's doing that, you guys feel free to roll your sense motives that I know Jake is already looking for the button for. Jake rolls a natty 1 and gets a 17. Jesus Christ, buddy. Oh my God. That is nuts. That is nuts. Welcome to Pathfinder, if you're not familiar. And he's not even hyper-spec. Like, you don't even have skill focus or anything, do you?
I do in religion, but not
yeah,
not
yeah, you're not hyper-spec in sense motive either. Like, you could be even more so being an Inquisitor. You could have 2 feats that add an additional +5 to that. You could have a trait that gives you another +1. You could even have 6 more than that. Oh, God. And that would double in a few more levels. So,
well, I haven't even bothered putting ranks in Intimidate since I got it to a 20. So I have like 2 ranks, but I haven't dumped any points into that.
Cool. I got to make creatures that they can survive a 32, and I'll be fine. Jesus. All right, moving on. So yeah, you sense motive with your characters, and it's one of those things where both of your characters believe everything that she's saying. You don't have any reason to disbelieve what she's saying. Even looking about the room and trying to get in, looking out the room, he gets the impression that everybody else is just kind of like nodding along. The only one that seems super suspicious this whole time is Edric. He just has that look on his face like, fuck her.
He just looks around and says, thoughts?
Leon says, our attentions are split, diverged between too many fronts. We saw how this negatively impacted us during the war, and it's going to do so as we continue to move forward. A decision should be made today, not hastily, but we've had time to contemplate it. Take her life, leave her in her cell, or give her a position. But a result should be had today, so we can move forward and bring our attentions to more important things. That's Leon. Cathal says, I think we should give her an opportunity. She seems to have evolved as a person as time has traveled. We give her an opportunity, but we give her a very short leash and a white-knuckled grip holding that leash. Raveena says, I think it just kind of comes down to trust her to whatever degree you think you can, or slit her throat. Leaving her in a cell, she's just going to get more and more resentful, and the likelihood of her screwing you over, it's going to increase as time goes. Who knows? Maybe you'll convert the old girl. Maybe you already have. And then it goes on to like asking questions about the kids, which you can answer to whatever degree you know, and that just happens. You have to RP about it because we already know. Edric, however, is just kind of Elliot. Elliot says, honestly, what impact would it have on the people in Hardgwen? Would they like to see an old face who is maybe looked upon favorably? Or would they be more agitated by her return?
The return of the old regime.
This is when Edric chimes in and says, that family. Fuck that family. Pieces of shit. They're one of the main reasons why I left Hod Gwen to come to Kurzfall in the first place. I've been here for a long time. I've been here since before this place was called Valoran. Fuck that family. I stole from that family directly. I stole from the vaults and their mountains of gold and antiquities they had in there, and brought it here because fuck that family. That being said, you all know everyone was none the wiser. Nobody knew exactly what they were doing. She's smart. She's real smart. You think she allowed the negative opinion of the people to fall upon her shoulders? No. There was a council, there was a leadership that were out in the open. Not everybody, but most of them out in the open. She allowed the ire to fall upon their shoulders. She's too keen to let it fall on her own. She's either playing a high game and looking to play you. I don't even know if there's another option.
She is certainly a gifted orator and gifted with political savvy and the ability to navigate Gwen's political scene, which is what makes this such a difficult decision. It is my opinion.
Go ahead.
It is my opinion that she could be considered to both have kept her end of the bargain and to have broken it. She provided us with the information we required. Yet, she also damaged property, a significant amount and of high value. That said, Momig promised her son protection. To me, that suggests that he must have some form of blessing or magic placed upon him. Perhaps I could beseech Momig to make a slight adjustment. This magic is already here, one would presume, unless he was lying. Perhaps he could alter it slightly to compel Belteran to never return to Adir.
Listen to that, what's his name? Leon says excommunication. No, what's the word?
Banishment.
Banishment, thank you. Banishment. I thought there was another word for it, the name of the EX. But anyways, banishment is honestly probably the most forgiving thing that we could do. We can have guards bring him to Leshev. We can pay to have him put onto a ship. We can send him up to Paradel, or maybe bring him to Hod Gwen and have him shipped out from there to Chizodal, maybe to Lvov, any of these locations, just to get him out of here. I think that she would be agreeing on that one, and I don't think that you would even have to have conversation with whatever this power is, because you would still be upholding your end of the bargain, and so on and so forth. Edric
Not
says,
so much
okay,
about gaining agreement from Momig,
exile,
but ensuring that Belteran does not come back. He is not trustworthy and does not deserve this. However, we are not Belteran. He would not do what we might in our position, but we are better than him.
We're also getting ahead of ourselves. We should not talk of what to do with Beltran until we figure out what to do with the lady.
Fate.
However, I have to say as well something that nobody has brought up. At the moment, we have 80 orcs, I believe, headed by 2, 3, and Vaku. Now, you put that woman in any position of power, I can't say that those orcs will not so much turn against us, where they may, but they could leave, and we need them. We need their expertise. We need their skills. So take that in consideration when you.
Why would they leave?
But this is a slaver, and we're giving her power that goes against Vroga in.
They don't know that.
Edric kind of chimes in, almost like interrupting, and says, "I say we hang the bitch, snap her old neck, and we look to the slumbering queen. I mean, she's honestly a very nice person. She gets along well enough with three. She has the heart of the people. She's been in the city for a long friggin' time. The people like her. She could be a temporary person that we could utilize and that we can trust. I think the slumbering queen is a better person that we can put some faith into to oversee the way that things are happening over there. We can crack open the vaults, be honest with her about that we're taking some of the money. I mean, she would understands that some degree of it needs to come back. But if we're lending aid and sending our armies there anyways, she's not a person without reason."
I would disagree with that, Edric. I do not believe we should place our faith in a woman we don't.
But you're not from Hodgwen. With all due respect, Chosen, you're not from Hodgwen. You don't know that the people there actually like her a lot.
See, I bet they do. And that may be a problem one day in the future.
You want to win them over, don't you?
She seems faithful to her faith rather than power. I agree that I do not trust her one, but Edric has a point. We haven't lived there.
No, we haven't.
The only other advisor you had that did was Lander. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yellow Belly.
Ha! He was a neutral good character, and you're evil as fuck. I mean,
he ran away from your Vance because he couldn't fix the problems there. So he ran away from here because he couldn't fix the problems here.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh, that's right.
I like it, though. I like it. That's good.
Well, once again, it comes down to the decision we make about Lady Grotus. So I think maybe we should each take a little bit of time and come back here with our answers. Now, in Valoran's absence, usually a 2/3 vote is something that is needed. Do you think that for this case,
the majority vote for the advisors would stand in for his?
Yes.
I agree. That's a good idea, one. This decision need not rest on our shoulders alone.
Okay.
Nor should it.
So, because we're kind of course, jumping ahead in time here. That's where the music stopped. Because we're kind of jumping ahead in time here. I can just, you say, take some time to think. Do we want to say flash forward to like maybe that evening or whatever it is?
Might want to speak to old Momik.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can have that RP moment. Sure.
It'll only be brief, but
sure. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, did I turn on? No, that's fine. Let me turn. Yeah, you're good. I'm listening. Oh shit. I don't think anything got affected. Maybe it did. So I'm listening. Go ahead. So you have everybody go and disappear and whatever it is to handle different tasks while you guys stay behind and call to Momek. Do you what name do you call him when you do call him?
Momik.
Okay. Because you know his real name, and the fact that you use it probably would not offend him.
Leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth at the moment due to everything like that happened in association with that name.
Sure, that's fine. So you call him Momek because that was the name that you knew him when he was a beneficial.
It's the name of his friend, you know?
Yeah, I gotcha. So moving on, you call to him after your advisors leave, and there is a pause. Not like it hasn't happened beforehand. and maybe about a minute or so passes before he does appear, but he doesn't appear the way he used to beforehand, where like he just seems to step into reality there. There's actually a moment where the entire room darkens for a second, like the entire area just seems to shift darker for a second, and then in one spot of the room there's like a darkness, like a condensed darkness kind of like forms up, and then he kind of like steps out of it. So he kind of like does step into reality, but through this kind of like super hyper dense dark area. And the coloration of the room and everything brightens back up again, same as it was beforehand. You look upon him, and he is not the same person you saw beforehand. He was always clearly a powerful being, creature, whatever he was. He was always clearly powerful. But now you don't see a powerful being before you. You don't see a being before you at all. You can sense its divine presence. You can feel the awe in you. It's literally one of those things where it's not like you immediately cower or bend a knee or whatever the case may be, but you can certainly immediately, you're both elated and intimidated just by resting eyes upon this immense thing in front of you. You also very quickly come to an understanding that this thing is not what it is that you're speaking to. This is clearly an avatar. It's just an extension of itself. Almost like talking to the fingernail of its smallest finger on its non-dominant hand. And despite that, you can still feel all this power. Anyways, it appears before you.
Momik, I apologize for disturbing you at probably what is quite a busy time. However, I was wondering if I might beg a boon. You made a deal with Lady Grearis, yes, to place protection upon her and her son. Upon her son.
A momentary lapse of judgments done in a time of desperation. Unfortunately, but I do not regret my actions.
I'm not asking you to go against your word, nor would I consider trying to break the protection you place. However, perhaps a slight adjustment could be made. Belteren is clearly not safe in Adir. Should the council come to an agreement later, perhaps you could adjust it so that he has a compulsion to leave Adir and never return. I would also ask...
Work against us from Paradel.
I would also ask if you could extend this to Lady Grearis. I understand that this is an ask. However, it would be a way to not break your word to her, provide protection, and keep them as safe as possible. If that is that the council votes in this way. He glanced at one as he says this.
So you're asking if the council votes to get rid of her, to not necessarily kill her, but to have both of them exiled.
If a compulsion could be placed upon them, that they would never return to Adir or want to get away from Adir.
He says, for too many centuries, for too many years, the minds of mortals have been swayed or altered by the influence of other powers. I do not wish to be a part of that. I will not do exactly as you ask. However, as an alternative, my power is far greater than it ever was before, in ways that are immeasurable.
Oh my god, he's about to space him.
I can temporarily link the portal of these ruins here with the portal of an old mole complex elsewhere. We can have a door connect between this room and that room in a different country, and we can send them there, near instantaneous travel. They will be removed, and if they choose to come back, that is on them. They can understand this because you'll tell them.
Thank you. I will call upon you should we decide this is the route we wish to take. He would bow.
Of course. And
before you go, one smiles at him and he says, me and Rayron have been present and have helped in the ascension of 2 divine beings. Now, Valoran had the dreams originally linking us all together and bringing us here for the purpose of freeing the martyr. We freed the martyr, and then we helped you. We freed you, and you have truly ascended. May I ask, is there anything else planned for us?
He actually takes a step forward and rests a hand on your shoulder. 2 things happen when he does so. 1, this is a divine being, again, that is literally reaching out and touching you. It's an actual God that is reaching out and touching you. There is no words.
Touched by God, eh?
Hey-oh. There's no words to describe the again, awe and fear that comes from it. But also beyond that, the burning sensation that happens on your shoulder with where he places his hand upon it. You can feel the burning happening there. It's not meant to be of ill intent. It's just, it hurts. But you're also no peon. So this like burning that you feel, you just tough it out, grit and bear it, because you're Grishka. Anyways, he says, freedom. You have freedom to choose for yourself and for your people. I hope you enjoy it. And he takes his hand off your shoulder. You can literally see almost like small tendrils of like a darkness rising up off of it, almost like if it was a steam. Like just a small amount though, you know what I mean? Not like a tea you just poured, but like one that's been sitting there for a couple minutes. Rising up off of it. And within seconds, it kind of like goes away. But instead of like tea being like a white smoke, almost like a dark smoke.
I smile at him, and it's a true smile. And he says, freedom. It's the best choice anyone could have.
You know,
America! Sorry.
He nods, and he says, I'm hoping the union between the 2 of you holds true enough through all the trials and tribulations you're going to encounter moving forward. I hope it holds so true that we can see unions across other fronts, above and beyond what happens here in Adir. Chosen. Rule well. And again, the whole room starts to darken. As like you can see him like himself almost turns like almost like a shadow of himself. You know, like obscured, no detail, no color, and then that dissipates out, and the room brightens back up again.
Damn, that's cool.
And see Froga do that.
Can we say we're friends with a god?
What was
I don't know
that?
how many people could claim that. No, it's
I
nothing
think-
he says to Rayron.
I think so. I mean, like, I viewed him as a friend before.
Mm.
So I'm fairly certain, yes. And he did just come when we called. Like, as a friend, not as like a servant, say. But, you know, like, that was a friendly chat between friends. Can I ask, should the council vote that way, would you be amenable to this plan? So much blood has been shed already, and she did not break her word per se. Beltran does not deserve it, but we have grown from this war, and we are better.
Votes to have her take a place in Hodgwen. Is that what you mean?
If votes to have her banished. I know you wish for justice, but...
If the council votes with you on and they vote banishment, I will not oppose.
As for the matter of leadership in Haldgwen, if she does leave, perhaps 3 could aid her legitimacy by combining with the slumbering queen for a period of time. Neither of them are my favorite people. However, they are both strong-willed, and probably, I suspect, 3 would not be subject to the charm of the slumbering queen.
I agree. However, if we want to unite Adia, and I have a plan that I wish to discuss with you at another time, we need someone in Hodgwen that in order to integrate it later on, they need to be amenable, per se. And I don't think that would be the case with this slumbering queen. And I think giving her power, she would increase her followers, and maybe that city we'd be forced into another war later on. However, that is a long way down the road, and we can work out the logistics of that after we've dealt with the current problem.
One step at a time, I suppose.
Yes. But always looking forward.
All right. So, you guys eventually call your council back in and try to get everybody's opinions. When you do ask them, like, more or less, blah, 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 what are we going to do with blah, 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 that whole bit, you'll actually have people getting their vote. Elliot says, so how you present it as give her the position, but kick out her son, or actually excommunicate exile both of them. Is that how you present it to them? You don't talk about murder. We straight up offer them from the beginning exile. Because how you present it is going to affect how it is that they vote. If you tell them, we're going to kill the old bitch, versus we're going to exile them, you can imagine the hearts of the people that are there that'll change their vote one way or the other.
So, out of character, I think we should offer them the 3 choices, which is possibly I'm not sure, we'll see what you think about this one, which is Lady Greyress helps with banishment of some. Both are banished. Execution.
Problem with that, it was when you do a 3-way vote, that makes it, when you have a 2-way vote, it's easy to split hairs and find out who has the bigger piece. When you have a 3-way vote, it could easily split the vote, make things more convoluted.
In which case, my choice, if I was to narrow it down to 2 votes, would be Greyress leads with Belter banished, and both banished.
Okay.
But what's your opinion on it, Jake?
Because I don't think Jake necessarily needed her dead. I think Jake wants her gone, right? After that talk that you just had.
One wants her slaughtered.
Well,
I want her to face justice, though I will relent if that is the will of Raven and the council.
Okay, cool. So, so why don't we just say she suffers justice and her son leaves, or she blah, 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 and then you guys can split the hairs afterwards. Cool.
Yeah.
So when you do that, obviously not everybody's there. Arthur's not there, and Ret Rock's not there to give their opinion on this one. But honestly, you don't really want Ret Rock's opinion, so.
Do I?
So
barrels.
Why don't we put her in a barrel, send her down the river?
So Elliot says, a promise was made, and she's upkept every part of her promise with the exception of, well, an additional annotation that involved a god. I say we give her the opportunity to do well for our people and for their people. That's Elliot. She'll be looked after, of course, but we give her the opportunity. Leon says, there are very few laws that exist here in Adir. Very few. And it's easy to follow them. You don't even have to know them to follow them. That's how easy they are. The first and foremost among them is no slavery. She was the tide against that law. Justice needs to be served for this. Promises were made, and she broke her promise. So if we had any reason to want to go against common sense or basic judgment, She broke that. Other parties involved does not matter. She broke that promise. Within another promise. Justice should be served. I'd hate to see her killed, because she has done everything on behalf of our nation as has been requested, but I don't know if I can trust her. She turns too quickly and too easily, under the guise of a mother's love. It could be true, it could be farce. She's older than almost everybody in this room, as he's clearly the only one older than her. She could be outwitting you. Let's not give her a chance to continue to do so. Raveena. Honestly, the enemy you know. You've had her here for how many months? How well do you understand her? I trust her over somebody else that you probably haven't even met yet. We were talking about maybe this slumbering queen. I trust her over somebody like that because I know her, or you know her better than that one. We know her tells. We know her to a degree. I say we give the old bird a chance. Just because we have a degree of understanding of who she is as a person. Edric, fuck that bitch. Hang her. I want to see her legs turn blue. Wow.
Vulgar, dude.
Cathal. He sits there in silence when it's him last of the council for several moments. Like, we're talking like a full minute and a half. And then finally, he starts to speak. I think it can be said pretty openly and evenly of everyone here that I tend towards forgiveness. I tend towards giving opportunity for people to do the right thing, to prove themselves. I think people should have a chance to prove their worth. She has proven her worth time and time again over decades of evil and corruption and capitalism. She's only aided us because it has aided her. And as long as we continue to provide her benefit, she will continue to do so for us. Not through faith of the rulership, not through love of the people, but solely because it benefits her. If she need be hung for her actions, this stone will shed no tears. How many others have died? How many other families have been ruined by her actions? She's had her chance, and what she's done for our nation thus far has only been a scratch against the surface, a nick in the stone of her evil deeds, and some degree of recompense. Let justice be served. Even though it does leave a sour taste in my mouth for saying it. As Leon said, a deer has few rules. Follow them. And that puts the tally at 3-2. They don't want her on the council.
Man, I'm not rolling good today.
Ever.
I want to get a sense of Rayren.
Ooh, Rayren's spoken to you.
You can luck die that one. Luck die.
No. Rayren has spoken to you about this before. He wears a pained expression. He said to you before that offering someone like this forgiveness is symbolic of an opportunity for himself to attain forgiveness. Since then, however, he has had a god tell him that forgiveness is still there and an option. He wears a pained expression. He doesn't look sure at all. Like, he's clearly conflicted. He also looks hesitant to speak until you've spoken.
You get the same look back in return.
God damn.
Will's like, I'm glad I joined this session. They just stare at each other. Jesus.
I would say that I gave Lady Graris my word that her son would be protected. That, at least, I believe we should do. A banishment. I would not break my word, even if this woman is evil. As for her ability to aid us, I believe she could. However, Cathal's words ring true. I believe she could and would aid us until it became non-beneficial for her. She is wise, clever, a skilled orator, a dangerous opponent. Previously, we fought against Howd Gwen. It was clearly evil. Their oppressive actions drove people away from them. However, if we fought against a Howd Gwen that hid its evil, we would not be in this position now. It is extremely difficult for me to say, but I think in this matter, I must vote justice.
Justice it is. Now, on to the second part. I respect your wishes that Beltran be exiled. We have a plan for that. Now I look to the rest of you again. We are able to exile Beltran and the lady to a different country through the portals here. Now,
Elliot's like, excuse me? There's an enhancement to the magics? Is there something that I'm not aware of?
Elliot, not right now, but yes, you will be informed.
All right. After class, Elliot.
Now, I must bend your ear again, and we must take another vote. She has to face justice for what she's done. She's not going to be afforded a position in Howd Gwen. But is it execution or exile? And he would look back to go down that order again. Except he would stop and catch Raveena's eye, and he would just look at her.
Yeah, roll.
And stare at her.
Roll your sense motive.
I'm not sensing motive.
Oh, you're just staring at her. You're just giving her the harem glare.
Oh, he's stealing. He's stealing her.
I'm out of character, attempting to influence.
What?
You'll see why, don't worry.
Oh, shit.
Do me a favor. You're trying to influence. You're trying to get a secret message across. Technically speaking, that is a bluff check to use innuendo. It used to actually be a skill called innuendo. But technically speaking, it's a bluff check to try to be discreet. She's very keen. That. But technically speaking, it's a bluff check to be discreet in what you're trying to do. Come on, you can't. Do you want to luck die?
Rolls a 2, gets a 4.
Do you want to luck die?
No, I don't.
Okay. And are you trying to influence her one way or the other?
One way or
people know where I stand on the issue.
Get you. So you do that. You give her that look. And so anyways, going through the list like we did beforehand, you have Elliot says, if these are the decisions that need to be made, I say we allow her to flee with her son. I'm sure at one point in time, she'll meet up with her daughters elsewhere and they can make themselves a life far from here. As she said, we did plunder her estate. It's not like they have a lot of money, though I'm sure her daughters have influence elsewhere. Honestly, she's old. She's going to die in a decade, maybe more. I mean, it's not too much of a concern that they're going to send back an attack against us. We'd be more worried about the children. I think it'd be fine to let her go. This is a problem that we can deal with in the future if ever it comes up. Let her be with her kids. She did enough for us, despite what others might think, to have earned that peace with her kids. She got us through this war. She got us to a time of, relative peace. Leon says, I think that this is one of the best decisions that could possibly be made. We honor her end of the bargain. She honored, for the most part, her end of the bargain. We honor our end of the bargain. Her children are free, and she's free to be with them. I don't like the idea of true freedom being her punishments, but it's better than taking her life when she has held her end of the bargain. Skipping down. Raveena doesn't respond yet. Edric says, hang the bitch. I want to see her legs turned purple. Okay, up the ante, buddy. And then
he's such a Scot, this guy.
Yeah. He just doesn't like her. And then you have Cathal, who says, I think banishment is... What could she possibly throw at us if she chose to come back at us? And what reason would she have to come back at us? Her children are safe. She's safe. I say let her go. That's the wisest course. And Raveena actually looks about the room and says, well, it's 3-1 anyways. And that's where she lets her vote settle. It's not that she doesn't choose to vote. It's that it's already settled. Doesn't matter which way she goes. It's already settled.
How calculating of her.
She's smart.
Yep. She's actually, I think, the smartest one in the room.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
She got more in than me?
What's your intelligence?
17.
I look real quick. Oh, where is she? Where's NPCs? Nope, that's your horses and whatnot. Where is...
I think she is.
She's not a mount yet.
Advisors, hold on. Oh, hell.
Oh, God.
Wait, what's your intelligence?
That
sorry?
just slipped in
17.
there. I was like, what the fuck?
She is equally intelligent.
Oh.
Yep. Oh. Okay. At least
I'm sorry about that joke.
At least until I do my next Patreon VOD where I upgrade all my NPCs.
When comparing Rowan's in.
Wait, is Elliot smarter? Is what chat's saying?
Oh,
Elliot probably is.
Actually, Elliot might be. I don't know.
He just doesn't play it off because
Yep, Elliot is.
Yep.
Elliot doesn't show it because he's a jock.
He's book smart, not street smart.
Damn.
He's like he's good with people through words, and he is, like you said, book smart. But yeah, she is literally the definition of street smart. She's a spy. All right, cool. So as the decision, they vote in favor of excommunication, of exile. Neil has already said he wants exile. So even if one says,
I haven't voted, damn it. I want to.
Neil's already voted exile. And so even if one chooses true justice, then it's...
Can we not use that term for it, please?
Sorry. True justice.
That suggests that is the most appropriate choice.
I mean...
I don't like the connotations that you're providing here.
I was on the side of the Union, not the Confederate. The Union, not the Confederate. We saw the Confederate as...
You know, Scott, I always knew you were that old.
So anyways, guys.
God damn.
Nice. Moving on. Thanks, Anno. Perfect timing. So So I'm sorry. Yeah. So I imagine that's the way the lines you guys vote.
Yep.
And so
exile it is.
Okay. And then, I mean, I don't know if there's much more RP that needs to go for this particular instance right here, but she is going there. Eventually, the council is kind of disbanded. I don't know who you actually want in the room for the teleportation to happen. Maybe you don't want anybody else in the room because this has to do with Momeg. You know what I mean? So you grab her, you bring her here, you get the son, bring him here. And there is the two of you. Anybody else in the room with you during the endeavor?
Does anyone want to stay?
I mean, honestly, Elliot would gladly watch everything.
Yeah, Elliot, I trust Elliot as far as I can throw.
Cathal is one of those people that, again, likes to make sure that you are properly taken care of. So he would stand there just to make sure in case there's any funny business.
Trust Cathal, not as far as I can throw him, a lot further, in fact. He is made of stone.
And lastly, you have an idea that comes to you, not from your own thoughts. You can feel, Neil, an influence, an idea that you know comes to you. That just because you're sending them out there doesn't mean they need to be sent to wherever they're going in style.
And you tell me, Scott, you're asking me to strip them? My God, that is disgusting.
I'm not asking you to Grishka them, okay?
That was his past persona.
You can't even say that because like I said that I stripped Beltran and you're like, oh, but you didn't take his boots.
You're welcome.
You made us anal about stripping all our captives, Scott. You did this.
Yeah, you definitely did this. Like,
I understand the anal stripping is my fault, so go ahead.
Please clip.
Please don't.
yes.
Please
Scott,
don't.
I
that's
wouldn't
like-
give them any money or anything.
That's like at your bachelor party when anal bleaching was your fault.
Wait, what? I don't even remember
Oh,
this.
no.
I was maybe too drunk.
Make
to
sure you get
remember
all of
this.
them in the clip, both of those, please.
The best part of this, Scott's like, I don't even remember. That didn't happen, but I mean, I guess you think that it could have, so.
Okay, well, I mean, if you look at the crew that was there, you know, it went from kegs and wandering around in places that shouldn't happen to Dungeons and Dragons for like 12 hours the next day. So that was quite the bachelor party. Anyways, so you the two of them would look to stay. Nobody else would really care to. What do you do with that kind of like inkling in the back of your head? And you know that you know kind of where this thought is coming from. Neil?
I don't know. I'm not going to bully these people. They're our prisoners.
We're going to rename Neil to Captain Dead Air.
Professional player. Raren hears this. He looks at one. It's not dead air. It's weighted presence. Thank you very much.
If we can find a really good image of something that represents dead air well enough, even if it's just like a microphone with like a live light,
like an image of
room,
Scott on stream,
and then Neil's face is the microphone. You know what I mean? Like we gotta get like a good image.
Scott on stream, but with my face in the mic.
We'll reward 2,000 daddies to somebody that can give us.
Oh my God, this is. But look at that is he's paying his viewers to go after me.
Right. Listen, we already have this one.
I think Raren would look at one, look at Elliot, look at Cathal. Then he'd look at the other two. We've decided that you should be banished from Adir. Both of you. However, you have also committed heinous crimes, that of slavery. Your banishment will be to step through this portal, one by one. The portal will close and open in between your entering. Do you understand?
separated. He says,
Your family bonds rung strong.
You really are a cunt, aren't you?
I think perhaps...
I'm going to punch him. I'm going to walk over and clock him straight in the jaw.
The mother who's standing next to him, and the guards or whoever it is that let him up, who would say that she hasn't said a word to him yet. She doesn't flinch when you punch him. You're in that one.
He will look
Can I brand cunt on his head?
Oh my god, no.
No.
This is not Australia.
You cannot? Yeah, it's not Australia, exactly. No.
Abort. Oh, wait, no.
No.
She's like, Rain would look at Lady Grayrus and say, you have upheld your end of the bargain to a degree. You still betrayed us. We cannot trust you. Therefore, you would be banished. Your son and you will leave safe. You will not appear somewhere in danger. You will have the opportunity to meet each other. Perhaps spend the time with your daughters. I feel that this is the truest judgment that I can offer you.
It's better than what I expected. The portal is opened when you go over and you lift the temple, like the icon on your war table that happens to be where your home is, or Kurzfall is, right? You lift that one, and even without lifting elsewhere, you can feel an energy pulse kind of happening elsewhere in the room. You can feel that the other end of the portal is being completed.
Oh my god, someone said send them to the barren lands. Please send them to the barren lands.
Fucking hell.
So it's funny enough, actually. So who are you sending through first?
Raven would step forward to Lady Grayrus and offer a hand.
Mm-hmm. She takes it.
My kingdom has punished you. But you have served me. He will reach into his pouch and count out 50 gold pieces to place in her hand. Build a new life for yourself away from here with your family in safety. And then he would offer for her to step through.
Okay. You motion for her to step through. And you can see as she takes that coin, she nods and says, it was a pleasure doing business. But honestly, I hope it doesn't happen again. And she leaves to go into the portal.
That's when she's like, I hope it doesn't happen again. It just...
You can see as she steps through the door opens up and she goes to step through. What you see on the other side of the door is because it always is supposed to be a mirror of this room that's here. That is not what you see on the other side. As a matter of fact, what you end up seeing is an old beat up other room elsewhere. It seems strange. You're not very familiar with with what it is. It clearly looks like an old mole ruins, but you're not familiar with where it is or so on and so forth by any stretch of the imagination. Looks like something that you've never seen before. Nonetheless, you're actually able to, as soon as she steps through, like walks through that thing, Neil, you kind of like feel a pull. Just Neil, you feel a pull, and you're able to kind of look down at the table, and you can see as she literally steps through to the other side, a small shimmering light comes from where it is on Kurzfall, in the middle of Adir, and actually shoots far off into the west, leveling somewhere around. Far off into the west, ending, some hundreds of miles, maybe even over 1,000 miles to the west is where she ends up landing. You're not entirely sure, but you know that it goes way, way, way over there. As a reminder, where Kurzfall is, happens to be right in the middle of, say, Leshev and Rid on this map that's displayed on the screen.
East.
I meant east. I said west. I meant east.
I was gonna fucking say. I'm
So
like,
sorry.
I was like, why would you send it to Eustace?
So me and maps, so good. So anyways, hundreds, if not over 1,000 miles off to the
well, they're dead.
east is where she goes. Oh no, I'm sorry. I am screwing it up. She goes.
Wait. Can you imagine if we space her and then Thronekeeper have to deal with her? Oh my god, top keck.
My apologies. She goes to.
Really hoping that.
She goes to the west, but not by anywhere near as much. She goes to the west by hundreds of miles, is what I say. So you give her that coin. She says, "Pleasure doing business with me after." She steps through, and you see a light go hundreds of miles to the west. My apologies. Okay. Then you shut the door, and it's his turn. You lift the thing again. Do you say any final words?
Raren looks him in the eye. And then he says, "Go fuck
Right
yourself."
as you're about to speak,
And Sparta kicks him
I was
into
going to say, right as you're about to speak, he slams his forehead into yours, like, boom, right to the bridge of your nose, reaches out, literally grabs up the, because, like, obviously one's, grabs up, goes to reach to grab the axe out of one's, the loop in one's belt. That is
Really?
literally, yeah, oh, absolutely. One, you're actually able to make a perception check to see this before it happens.
Oh, good. Please let me make an action. Please give it to me.
I would argue that this is a sense motive more than a perception, right?
Yeah, give it to me. Give me a sense motive.
This is a sense motive. You're literally sensing his motive.
You have to see it because you're not seeing his motive from behind him.
Well, look at this guy. He doesn't even listen to his brother. He's a maverick.
28.
This guy
you see,
wants
he's like
to fucking die.
Break his
reaches
wrist.
to grab,
Break his
reaches to
wrist.
grab the axe.
All the
Okay,
entire
can I grab hold of him?
I mean, yeah, CMB.
All right.
Roll
Well, if he's reaching for my axe, can't I literally just put my hand on his thing?
CMB.
CMB, fucking hell.
Crack his fucking arms.
Oh my god.
What
Zach!
about what's the?
This wants to send a
what's
wacky,
the-
wavy inflatable arm man out.
Okay, hang on, wait. Where's CMB? CMB.
Hey, we were
Just
way
below
too
Will.
kind to him, and he's like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna fight."
Yeah, well,
Are you happy
dude,
with the
come on.
15?
Nope. 16.
Oh, 16.
Oh, we
A
got
16
6.
is actually not enough to grab his arm.
Really?
His CMD is above that, absolutely. CMD is easy to have. It's BAB plus strength plus dex. That's easy to beat.
Is he not like restrained in any way or anything?
I mean, he was being sent through a portal. No, of course he's not restrained.
Damn it.
So he goes to grab up the axe from your belt, literally grabs up the axe from your belt, and then runs to run through the door through the doorway. He's technically moving out of your threatened squares. If anybody has a weapon in hand, you can make an attack of opportunity. If you don't, you can't. Nobody has a weapon in hand. Cool.
Can I not make a
action? Sure. You see him beat.
Can I cast a spell?
I'd say that was more of a reaction.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I cast it? So does it?
So mad. I'm so
What
mad.
sort of action is this now that I am
Standard action.
taking?
Shut the portal. Shut the portal. Just slam the thing down.
Wait, so he's trying to leave my.
I didn't even know the portal was actually
he's-
open.
Yeah, well, I said after you lift up the thing, before he walks through, what do you say to him?
Yeah. So, but I'm literally like face to face. He's just not even in the face, right? So now he's grabbed the axe and he's trying to leave
Yep,
my
he's grabbed the axe.
square.
Exactly, and he's going through. But this is not a provoked attack of opportunity because you can't do that with spells. It's a special feat. So, but
You
it's your
can't do
action.
that with spells.
It's your action.
Can
so
you
can do
slam
something
the
on your
portal
action.
shut?
I mean, if you slam the portal shut, I mean, he's going where you want him to.
Look, after you deal with Rayron, I have an argument.
You can. We have to give Neil 75 minutes to make a single decision.
So
Oh,
well, no. What I'm gonna ask before Scott's a little bitch about it is, I've got blade boots on.
Sure. It's a swift
Do
action.
they count as equipped?
You have to be out.
So it's a swift action to pop one out, right?
Correct, but they were out, so you couldn't make an attack of opportunity with it yet.
So you can't do anything basically.
It has to be out, and then you can make attack of opportunity or whatever.
But I'm asking, what can I do? I'm not super familiar with
cast a spell.
Pathfinder.
Cast a spell. You don't have no attack.
I can't cast a spell on him.
You have no attack of opportunity, but you do still have a standard action. I'm saying you have a standard action.
But what can... I'm asking, can I shocking grasp the man?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Cast a spell.
Okay, right,
that's a spell.
Jesus.
Oh.
A 12 does not hit, Neil.
It's his touch AC. He's not wearing armor.
I'm aware of that. A 12 does not hit, Neil.
He's carrying a metal weapon. He's carrying a metal weapon. It has a +3 to hit.
No, that's armor, not weapon.
No. Or he's carrying a metal weapon. Read the thing.
It says metal weapon that is made of metal. Yeah.
Oh, no, you are correct. Cool. So that does hit. 22 points of damage. So you literally reach out, and it's one of those things where you miss him, but just barely grab the head of the axe as it goes, which is very appropriate, and send the current through the axe up and into him. He's like, ah! We already know 22 points of damage is enough to drop him. He opens up the door and kind of like falls through the door. On the
I want my side. Argument.
When he falls through the door, as the door opens up, again, it's a place you've never been before, Rayron. However, Jake, it's a place that seems familiar to you. The air, the smell of it, how dark it feels over there. Not in ambience, not in light. How... You know where he went. He goes through, and that little light pops up again from the table, Rayron. You kind of like feel that pull. You look over. You can see that he traveled several hundred miles, if not 1,000, to the east.
Good.
Shut the fuck. Take the axe. Shut the portal.
Did he drop the axe?
No, he jumped through the portal. Technically, the door's still open. He was able to get through because you shocked him. He wasn't able to fully leave. Do you go to follow after him to get the thing?
Fuck no, I'm not going back to the Barrenlands.
So you just reach out and say, fuck that, and shut the door?
Well, I wanted to make my case for letting me use a swift action, but you've told me he's gone through the portal, so now I'm fucked. So there's nothing I can do. There would be immense anger on his face, then he slowly starts to laugh. And he keeps laughing to the point where he starts stepping back and literally sits down, leans back, and the whole room is filled with laughter.
As he starts to laugh, at the beginning of the laughter, you see that, what's his name? Beltran looks a little, his face screws up with a bit of confusion, but it just kicks the door shut. So it locks out the portal, so it ends there. And that's that. So you sit there laughing maniacally.
And then he would say, he'd look at Raymond and he says, Momig is a friend indeed.
Raymond, who's like holding the bridge of his nose. Yes. Bastard.
And then he looks at Raymond and says, do you know where he's gone?
East. Somewhere. A long way.
He's making a new home in the Barrenlands.
I see. This probably doesn't end up like you then, eh?
And we should cut to break.
I need a pee.
I need a pee. I need to go grab my breakfast and whatnot. And then when we come back, we can finally make two rolls and meet two quick rolls and meet Will's character. So everybody will be back in just a couple of minutes.
If Neil's involved, it's not quick rolls.
No, no. The rolls. It's just Neil talks for like 45 minutes. Just speaking of, be right back in just a few minutes. Go pee poo. Do you got to do? BRB.